Starting lineups tonight, just a little bit of a difference here for Georgetown. Michaela Benson not in the starting lineup. She hit her head in the game on Sunday against St. John. She will not start. So moving into that starting lineup will be Morgan Smith and the familiar 5 starters for DePaul, all averaging in double figures. So you will see a lot of pink here tonight, as Trish mentioned. It's play for K night here at Lincoln Park. As you take a look at Kelly Campbell, up in among the nation's leaders in assist to turnover ratio. Assists, she has a triple-double already this season. Special uniforms for both of these two teams.
Seems to me that everybody's anticipating that Marte Graves is going to get that tip, and that does happen. Stonewall on the floor to get it.
DePaul won the first meeting of these two teams, 78-62, made 15 out of 31 shots from three-point range. That was a tight ball game, though, before the Blue Demons put it away in the fourth quarter. Graves will get the touch inside in the first score. Marte Graves comes in averaging 14.8 points per game.
Marte Graves has really done a lot of nice work on her footwork and her positioning inside. They really like to look to her on the post now. She's got a complete game. She can shoot threes, jumpers, and has become a force inside, which is exactly what DePaul needs. They are a guard-oriented team.
Hoyas turned the ball over the first time down the floor. They are second in the conference, only averaging 12.2 turnovers per game, and that's good for 15th best in the country. Cynthia Petke will get that rebound. Petke, a double-double machine. She has 13 double-doubles, a couple of them in the last weekend's games against Seton Hall and St. John's. This is Yasmin Belk. Petke, size advantage over Coleman. Now the Blue Demons will run. DePaul averaging almost 84 points per game, 7th best in the country. Coleman knocks down a 3. Mara Coleman gets her 38th three-pointer of the year. All 5 DePaul starters have 32 or more threes.
And Georgetown near the bottom of the Big East in points per game. They will work it around. They will try to be patient and try to slow the pace of this game.
Deanna White, the first points of the game for the Hoyas, and Shantae Stonewall, a little step over that end line.
Georgetown averaging 63 points per game. That is number 8 in the Big East.
Second in the conference, though, in points allowed per game at 59.9.
Well, they've had to be tight on defense. They just don't score a lot, so defense has kind of been their thing, but they're getting the offense going here early.
With Yasmin Belk, the 6'3" senior from Queens, New York. Belk only averaging 5 points per game. She will have to pick up her scoring here today in the absence of Michaela Benson. Benson, the senior from Virginia, 14.5 points per game. She will not play tonight. You will see Georgetown, no hurry. Dada Burton, small guards up front with White and Burton. And Burton will have that last kick out of bounds. Georgetown coming in 11-13, 6-8 in conference play. And there's their head coach, James Howard, in his first year as the head coach at Georgetown. He's an assistant here for the Hoyas the last 2 seasons. And Ashton Millender will rattle home a 3. 72nd 3 of the year for Millender.
Coach Howard, a favorite with the players on this team. They were really pulling for him to get the head coaching job.
He took over for Natasha Adair. A nice inside shot from Belk. She has a couple of field goals here early. Natasha Adair now at Delaware. Shantae Stonewall open to the rim, and she'll take it right there. Stonewall at 10.6 points per game. A 3 will clang off for Morgan Smith. Smith, sophomore, getting the start here tonight. James Howard, 7 years head coach overall, 86 and 82, 6 years. He was at Wesley College as the head coach. Assistant coaching stops at Bethune-Cookman and also at Howard. He is a Washington, D.C. native. Belk will muscle that rebound down. She averages over 6 rebounds per game. And they will get Amara Coleman, has that puzzled look on her face as Burton kind of stumbled through.
And Donna Burton so quick. Saw the quick first step there, quick with the basketball, just makes a lot of good decisions, makes Georgetown go. Coach James Howard telling us that she's kind of the glue to this team. He can kind of put his trust in her to find open teammates to keep the offense moving.
4th-year point guard for the Hoyas. 2nd in the conference, 6th in the nation. An assist-to-turnover ratio at 3.3. How about Yasmin Belk getting out of the blocks here early? She's already exceeded her game scoring average. She has 6 of the 8 Georgetown points.
Really, defense is Belk's thing. She leads the conference in blocks, but she has shown us a spark offensively at the other end.
Millender, deep 3. And a bucket to tie here for Georgetown early on. DePaul comes in with 20 wins in their 26 games, 12-2 in Big East play. I'll leave Smith open. Millender puts the ball on the floor. 5'8" junior. She was on the Ann Myers Drysdale Award watch list as a top 20. Didn't make the top 10. Alizea Blockton from Marquette, the only member of the Big East Conference to be in the top 10 for the top shooting guard of the year. First year of that award. And Deanna White will rattle it home.
I like the mentality of Ashton Millender on that last possession. She shot pretty much an air ball on her previous shot, a 3-point attempt from deep, and then came right back and didn't even hesitate to put the ball on the floor and take a tough baseline jumper shot on that last one.
A bank from Amara Coleman.
So that is the mentality of all of these DePaul players. They have the green light to shoot from pretty much anywhere on the floor. And even when they don't make shots or have bad misses, as long as it's a good shot, as long as they're open, Doug Bruno's fine with that. And I really like that. It gives these players a lot of confidence to keep shooting.
Thought it was going to go up there again. This time it will for Millender. And DePaul is 4 out of 6 shooting threes here early. And James Howard needs a timeout. Well, in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, DePaul hit 15 out of 31 from long-range distance. This time it is 4 out of 6 to get things rolling here in Chicago.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University by bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking. A wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for $200, but it's more like $415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your dress.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, Change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000 people. We want to help you too.
Head coach Doug Bruno and the DePaul women's basketball team are currently on a 6-game winning streak, and they sit in first place in the Big East Conference standings, driving toward a 5th consecutive conference championship. Join us at McGrath-Phillips Arena this Sunday afternoon when the Blue Demons host Villanova at 2 p.m. And DePaul also honors their seniors for their contribution to the Blue Demon program. Call the DePaul ticket office today to reserve your seats at 773-325-SLAM or visit DePaulBlueDemons.com for more information on additional ticket opportunities. And there is Doug Bruno in his 32nd year at DePaul, and just before the game, Doug Bruno, who this past weekend had earned his 700th career coaching victory. It's the ball presentation from Director of Athletics Gene Lenti Ponsetto. 661 of those now 701 wins have come here at DePaul, his alma mater.
Well, it's just been an icon in women's basketball. At 11 straight 20-win seasons at DePaul, 26 overall. You've been an Olympic coach with Gino Ariema. Just so well respected by the coaching community and women's basketball fans. He's done a great job of building up interest in women's basketball in the Chicago area. Always about women's game. So much for women's basketball in his 30 years.
And he has brought Tanita Allen and Lauren Prochaska off the bench here following that timeout. Tatiana Thompson is in for Georgetown as Kelly Campbell knocks down a 3. DePaul now 5 of 7 from long range.
Well, that is their thing. DePaul is #1 in the country in 3-pointers per game, about 12 per game. They're almost halfway to that point.
Rebound from Prochaska. Nice job defensively by Morgan Smith. You know, James Howard, the head coach for Georgetown, I mean, there's no secret how DePaul shoots the 3. And his point is that they're so tough to defend because of all the shooters. And he's pointed out, when and teams have experienced it, DePaul can be 3 for 12 early in a game, and all of a sudden you look up and they're 10 of 22. Well, today they've gotten off to the lightning start.
Well, and the point is, though, the number of players who can drain 3-pointers. I mean, we've seen games in which 5, 6, 7 players have hit 3-pointers for DePaul, and it makes it so tough to shut that down.
Turnover from Lauren Prochaska. That is a rarity. She's 3rd in the conference, 36th in the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio. And Deanna White makes the Blue Demons pay.
When so many players can hit 3-pointers for you, that really puts a lot of pressure on the defense. It stretches the defense, and then all kinds of other things start opening up for the Blue Demons, and you'll see they'll start to take advantage of it. They'll find players like Marte Grays inside. They'll find driving lanes. There's Tanita Allen. Got a lot of versatility among the players on this team and within the offense.
Finally, we will get the held ball. Possession will go to the Hoyas. Georgetown coming off a loss to St. John's, a ball game they never led. That was 71-63 on Sunday, and DePaul this past Sunday escaped Xavier 73-72. That was a ball game that DePaul only led for 7.5 minutes, and then they had to survive a replay review at the end of that ball game. A 3-pointer that was ruled a 3 could have sent the game into overtime. Replay showed that it was a 2-pointer by about 1.5 inches, and with it, DePaul escaped that one by 1-point victory over Xavier.
Well, Doug Bruno telling me, Xavier is in last place in the Big East. DePaul is in first. And just saying that, that goes to show you the strength of this conference overall and how really any team can beat anybody at any given time, especially on their own floor. That was a tough game for DePaul to pull out, that Xavier game. Gonna have some war wounds from that game, Dave.
We said we're getting close to that Big East Conference tournament, and there's no seeds that are really set yet, of course, with a couple of weekends to play. Xavier, though, and Providence, they know they'll be playing on the first day of that conference tournament. They will finish in the 9th or 10th spot, whichever spot they end up. It's Georgetown, Butler, Providence, Xavier right now. The final 4 spots will be forced to play in, not getting a bye in the opening round of play.
Well, I think Doug Bruno is right. The Big East, he had a great non-conference season, Dave. Every team came out of the non-conference season with a winning record. Some very big wins for Big East teams against nationally ranked teams. And that just will help this conference as the NCAA tournament starts and as the selection committee is looking at these teams and their body of work over the course of the season.
8 first quarter points for Deanna White. She had 17 points, 9 rebounds the last time these teams met. Shot clock in single digits. Great defensive set here for Georgetown. Burton on the move. It's a 3-on-3. Morgan Smith with the rebound. The Petke and the putback.
Great sequence there for Georgetown, too. And then the rebound there by Petke.
Campbell have to beat the buzzer. That was halfway down. Well, the 11-point lead is shrunk to 5. Kelly Campbell's 3 rattles in and out at the buzzer, and after 1 in Chicago, it's DePaul 21, Georgetown 16.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University by bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking. A wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000 people. We want to help you.
Fans, we are only 2 weeks away from Wintrust Arena hosting the 2018 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament. It all starts Saturday, March 3rd, and that's when you can experience competition as the Big East Conference's 10 teams compete for an automatic berth in the 2018 NCAA Women's Championship Tournament. Tickets for all sessions are on sale now, so call the DePaul ticket office today to reserve your package or visit DePaulBlueDemons.com for more information. For those ticket packages, tickets starting as low as $15 per session. You can get all session booklets. They're still available. That would be 9 games, and that starts at just $50. Groups, you can get 15 or more. Single tickets at 10. The super groups, you can get them for just $8. Doug Bruno on his floor. Truly, this court here at McGrath-Phillips Arena, the home court for DePaul, named the Douglas Bruno Court. Shante Stonewall. And there's a block from Cynthia Petke. For the Hoyas, it just hung tough here. 11-point lead at 5 here early in the second quarter. Deanna White, not to walk, one extra little step.
Deanna White, though, she is going to attack the basket. That's one of the things that she does best. She's quick, got great handles, leads this team in scoring, third in the Big East. We mentioned that. You've got to always keep an eye on her, stay with her, step for step.
And James Howard had to kind of talk her into being a scorer. It's not necessarily in her nature, but with the absence of Dorothy Adamacko, of course, those of you fans of the Big East Conference know what a star Adamacko had been through her career. All of a sudden, White had to step up scoring, and she has.
Adamacko lost before the season even started for Georgetown. That was a tough one to accept, especially for Howard being in his first year as a head coach. He was counting on her to be the leader of this group.
Nobody home for the Blue Demons. From the free throw line, Cynthia Petke. Petke burned DePaul for 24 points in their first meeting. She has 4 here tonight. Marte Gray slow getting up on the other end. Meanwhile, Deanna White, that would have cut the lead to 1, and Prochaska is going to get called for the foul.
It seems that every defensive possession for Georgetown down at the other end, when they limit DePaul or force DePaul into a quick shot, an off-balance shot, they really show a lot of confidence down on the other end. You see the drive there again by White and going after her offensive rebound with reckless abandon. Georgetown just seems to be playing with a lot of spunk right now, and I think that's coming from the confidence they're getting on the defensive end.
Got the ball in deep a couple of times on that possession, nothing to show for it. And you see why this team only allows 60 points per game, second best in the conference.
They do a great job of keeping their hands up, always in position for tips, deflections. You see they get their hands on the ball a lot, and that's disruptive when you're trying to pass the ball around, looking inside for Marte Grays and just can't get it to her. So many hands in the way by Georgetown.
Stonewall with a clean block on Burton.
Donna Burton just 5'5", taking on the 6'1" Stonewall. Not a great idea. Donna's got some speed and some hops, but so does Stonewall, a track star in high school. She's gonna take that ball away.
Just into the game, marvelous. Osage Aresi loses the handle on that ball. Aresi, 5'4" sophomore from East Orange, New Jersey. She has Campbell up at the top.
All the hands again for Georgetown.
DePaul has now turned the ball over 7 times.
Wow.
We're in the second minute here of the second quarter.
And a lot of those are just on errant passes that Georgetown had a hand in tipping away.
Oh, what a great feed inside. Burton somehow got it through traffic to Deanna White, who's already reached double figures with 10, and we have a 1-point game. Again, White gets a hand on the ball, and somehow Stonewall finds the glass.
But DePaul smart to recognize there. Again, another mismatch. Stonewall, 6'1", White, 5'5". You got to give the ball to Stonewall there in that situation.
Petke kept the ball alive, still alive. Georgetown maintains possession. White, she'll bank it in for the tie.
Wow, and Georgetown just really being super aggressive on the boards, already with 6 offensive rebounds, and DePaul is one of the best rebounding teams in the Big East, despite being undersized, very aggressive on the boards, and Georgetown is just out hustling them on the boards.
Last 6 minutes, Georgetown has made up an 11-point deficit. Now, this was a 2-point game going into the fourth quarter in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and of course, for Georgetown, that came 2 days after the victory over Marquette that really kind of turned the conference on its ear when they knocked off at that time first place Marquette 85-58.
Yeah, that's a 27-point win. A lot of people did not see that coming. That just goes to show you the potential of this team, how dangerous they have been over the course of the season. They're thinking that they can make some noise in the Big East tournament. They've knocked off some big teams. They have a lot of talent. They've just had a lot of transition, a lot of different coaches. They're on their 5th coach in the last 6 years. But you can tell the potential is there. They have had a lot of bright spots this season.
Once again, the shot clock in single digits. Campbell, the kick out, Prochaska.
Such a victory right there for Georgetown. DePaul typically does not have to be forced that deep into the shot clock. They shoot the ball quickly. Just not finding offense down at the other end.
Burton gets on the floor, but DePaul will have it. Allen. Another quick three. 5 of 7 to start. DePaul's missed their last 5 shots from long range. Georgetown outscoring DePaul 7-2. Make that 9-2 here in the second quarter, and the Hoyas will take the lead. That is their first lead of this game.
And just showing a tremendous amount of patience on the offensive end. They're getting good shots, good looks at the basket.
Adiata Thompson with that last basket. And another turnover. That is number 8 for DePaul.
Typical of the Blue Demons. They are one of the best teams in the conference, keeping their turnovers down.
Paul only turns it over 14 times per game. In the early portion, the first 4.5 minutes of this second quarter is all Hoyas. An 11-point deficit has become a 2-point lead. 4.5 to play in the first half.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University by bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking. A wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your dress.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000.
25-23 Georgetown here midway through the second quarter, 2 weeks ago before the Big East tournament. Deanna White came into this ball game with 15 straight double-figure scoring games, so you can add 1 to that. 16 straight double figures. She has 13 points here tonight.
Well, Deanna White has become more and more comfortable as the season progressed of being the go-to scorer for Georgetown. That's what she has had to do with the absence of Georgetown's #1 player from last year, Dorothy Adamako, to an injury. The White has stepped into that role. She's able to score inside, out. She just feels comfortable with the ball in her hands, and she has had a huge game here so far with the 13 points, and really a big reason that Georgetown has this 2-point lead.
So White with 13 points. She has a couple of rebounds and assists and 2 steals. We've only played a quarter and a half. Showing why the justification for that preseason unanimous first team pick. Thompson with the walk.
You mentioned it, Dave, though, Deanna White not comfortable in that role at first, but as Coach James Howard told us, coming out of her shell. It's not been her personality to be that leader, but she's finding that now, and there's Deja Cage finding a 3, another 3 for DePaul. That is 6 in this game for the Blue Demons.
Cage has not played a lot recently for the Blue Demons. She comes off. She likes to get it up in a hurry. She doesn't need any warm-ups. Her first touch results in 3 and a DePaul lead. Petke. And how about that from Burton? And it goes the other way to Millender. Ashton Millender to the free throw line. I believe you asked Coach Howard yesterday, how do you know when your team is really playing well? What do you feel? What do you see? And he says, we're diving on the floor. We're communicating on defense. Well, that's exactly what has happened here tonight.
Well, and I like that was Morgan Smith who challenged Ashton Millender, eventually fouled Millender, but I like it that she did not give up on that play. A lot of teams will with DePaul, so good at getting out in transition, especially off of turnovers, and you see a lot of guys just putting their heads down and just accepting the inevitable, and Morgan Smith challenging that all the way, and that's been a staple of this Georgetown defense. They are relentless defensively.
Ashton Millender reaches double figures with 10. 28-25, Blue Demons lead. Petke is so strong inside.
She's just got a great body for interior work, 6'2", big body, strong, and unafraid to face the contact as well.
Tanita Allen gets it from Millender.
She's the lefty, and boy, she does that little lefty hook so well, able to use her body to shield against the defense. That was pretty.
Looking for 3.
DePaul so eagerly wants to get the pace of this game going up and down, but it has been in Georgetown's favor this entire first half.
Campbell tried to sneak that pass through, and Marte Grays is fouled. You look at those pink jerseys, and obviously they stand out here on play for K-Knight. But those pink jerseys have covered so much ground in the paint and have defended the 3 despite DePaul knocking down 6 of them already. Wide open Millender. That's a money shot for Ashton Millender. She now has 13 points, and that ties White for game scoring honors, and the Blue Demons have the lead back up to 6.
You say, how do you leave Ashton Millender, one of the best three-point shooters, so open? But that's just a byproduct of the fact that so many people can hit threes for DePaul. Who do you guard? Pick your poison.
White, who missed the shot, gets back and denies Marte Grays on the other end.
Well, that's a sign of a great leader. That's exactly what Coach Howard is looking for. You're not hanging your head. You're getting back. And you're doing your job for your team.
Wide open Grays. Ooh, Campbell goes down hard. Kelly Campbell, awkward landing.
Hobbling a little bit on that knee. But that's Kelly Campbell in a nutshell. I'm surprised she doesn't wear knee pads because she is on the floor so much, diving for balls, loose balls, tips, deflections, rebounding. She puts her hard hat on. She just does all the little things. So many of the things that she does do show up on the stat sheet, but so many things do not. Just that hustle everywhere player doing everything for you. Coach's dream.
Cynthia Petke picks up her 8th point of this game. Remember, the Hoyas playing without Michaela Venson. The senior averaging 14.5 points per game hit her head against St. John's on Sunday, and as a precaution, they are not dressing her tonight. So it's been a big 3 this year in terms of scoring. Petke, White, and Benson now down to a big 2 tonight. That's an easy inbounds play to Grays. So DePaul has executed an inbounds 3 to Millender and then an easy layup to Grays and a lead back to 6. Of course, with Benson out, the bench becomes that much thinner for James Howard in Georgetown. Smith can't get anything to go tonight. Cage. And all of a sudden, Georgetown having a little bit of trouble getting back. The thin bench.
Well, they're not finishing on the other end, Dave. You know, Deanna White on that last possession had a great drive inside of the kick out, but Georgetown not typically a great shooting team unless they're in the paint. They need those high percentage shots. Not a great jump shooting team and definitely not a great three-point shooting team. In fact, they are last in the Big East in three-pointers made per game. Their shooting percentages are low, so Georgetown really needs to focus on like shots like this. Now that was a tough shot, she did get fouled, but they need those higher percentage shots in the paint to be successful against DePaul. You make the shots, you make DePaul take the ball out of bounds, that slows down DePaul. DePaul doesn't want to do that, they want to run. Georgetown really needs to take their time on the offensive end, get those high percentage shots.
Cynthia Petke currently an honor roll selection this past week, second time she's earned that honor. She's also player of the week one time this season, 13 double-doubles for the Hoyas. There is Petke once again. Coleman on the chase. And Amara Coleman with the strip.
This is a Georgetown team that the defense is just so good. I mean, you've got the #1 leader in the Big East in steals and Deanna White. Burton is 5th. You've got the shot blocking leader in the Big East. They make plays on defense.
The turnover becomes the 8th of the game. We've had 18 turnovers in this game combined from two teams that really don't give the ball up much.
Those are the keys for Georgetown, is the high percentage shots on the offensive set and then turning defense into offense, using their stellar play on defense to create some offense.
Well, 10 turnovers for DePaul has led to 12 Georgetown points. Final 30 seconds here of the first half. Millender steps back 3.
That's Ashton Millender loves that. Nothing between her and the basket. She is going to make a vast majority of those shots so good, and when you leave her open, she is obviously excellent. Already 8 threes in this game for DePaul.
White step back 3 of her own, and it goes. Ashton Millender drops the 3 for her 16th point of the game, and then Deanna White buries a 3 for her 16th. And we've got a good one here in Chicago. DePaul 40, Georgetown 34 as we go to the break.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University. By bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking, a wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your...
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000 people. We want to help you too. Find out how much you...
Georgetown operating short-handed tonight without Michaela Venson. However, the Hoyas within 6, thanks to 16 points from Deanna White. Ashlyn Millender has 16 for DePaul. A few weeks ago, right here on the DePaul University campus in Lincoln Park in Chicago, the Big East hosted the Broadcast Boot Camp, and it was an informational day of seminars for prospective people to enter the business of broadcasting. And that was the same day that DePaul hosted Marquette right here on this floor at McGrath-Phillips Arena, and Lisa Byington and LaChina Robinson had the call of that game as well as their thoughts on the boot camp.
For the second year in a row, Big East women's basketball upperclassmen came to New York City for a first-of-its-kind program, the Transition Game.
The main purpose of Transition Game is really to help them transition after college and start thinking about careers, start thinking about graduate school, start thinking about ways to maybe still stay engaged with the game at some level, or even if it's not in sports, whatever career goals that they do have, for them to really start thinking about it now as opposed to second semester of senior year. We are concerned about the whole student athlete, and I think this is part of us investing in their off-the-court development as a whole person.
The weekend was filled with terrific speakers, ranging from former WNBA executive Renee Brown and former Georgetown standout Sugar Rogers, who was recently crowned WNBA's 6th Woman of the Year.
Hearing these people talk, people I see on television, people I read about, and actually being able to see them firsthand, ask them questions, like get to know them, get to know what it takes to potentially be where they are one day.
What I would want these ladies to really take away is just to believe in themselves, have confidence in themselves, and realize they belong in the room.
Go out, you initiate, be intentional about what you want, build those networks, go shadow somebody. Those things, sometimes you just need to hear from multiple sources to then get yourself up and be like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be proactive, and know that there's a lot of opportunities out there and a lot of people pushing and wanting me to succeed.
All 10 Big East schools are there, and the weekend not only provides an opportunity for the student athletes to hear from those speakers, but interact with their peers.
I honestly like meeting these girls not on the basketball court. This is really a cool opportunity to kind of step away from basketball and also talk positions in basketball other than playing.
I think it really speaks a lot to how much Val and our coaches really invest in each of us every day. To put something like this together and to learn from all of these great mentors is a great experience for all of us.
The Big East also brought in 2 pioneers for women in the broadcasting industry to share their advice.
As a kid, I would have loved to have had the opportunity to meet professional women who had some sort of experience in the sports landscape. Looking out on those faces and remembering what I felt like as a 20, 21-year-old trying to think about what's next in my life. Hopefully some of the information we shared will help them somewhere down the road.
That's what we like to think we are. Big East is a family. And as a family, we're all here to help one another. And so I think when you start to have and build relationships with people that may be able to give you a hand down the line, that's what's awesome to me about the Big East and about an opportunity to do something like this for a weekend.
And one thing's for sure, this program's message goes beyond the game these women share.
Put yourself out there after basketball. There is a life after basketball if that day does come. And when it does, it's an easy process to transition into. Step out of your comfort zone, talk to people, network. It's really what I got out of it.
Now they have an opportunity to engage with one another on a different level, and these will be some lifelong friendships that they develop and hopefully carry on after they leave here.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University. By bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking, a wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000 people. We want to help you too. Find out how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
The first place DePaul Blue
What do
Demons
you
hold
see?
that 6-point lead
Is it
at
a
the
tree?
half here at McGrath-Phillips Arena
Or
over the
is it a
Georgetown
shelter?
Hoyas. Glad to have
Is it
you
a
with
time
us here.
capsule
Dave
telling the
Bernhardt along
story
with
of the last
Patricia
century?
Babcock-McGrath.
Or a way
So
to
Trish, I'm
combat
going to say
climate
something that's
change in
going to
this one?
seem a little contradictory.
Looking at things
All right,
from
DePaul
every
comes
angle.
in averaging 84
It happens
points per
every
game,
day
right?
at DePaul
They have 40
University.
here at the half, so just
By
about
bringing
on a
together
normal
students
scoring
with
base.
diverse
Yet the
perspectives
Georgetown
and
defense is
professors
really
who
been
challenge
impressive.
conventional thinking,
I know, it
a
does seem
wider point
contradictory.
of
I've
view
been so impressed
emerges.
with Georgetown's
DePaul
defense.
University,
This is not an easy
a
team
greater
to defend. This is
perspective.
not an easy place to play, but DePaul has 10
Love your
turnovers
dress.
already in this game.
I got it on sale
Only
for
3
$200,
offensive rebounds. They're one of the
but
best
it's more like
offensive rebounding
415
teams
since I haven't
in the
paid off that
conference.
credit yet.
0 second chance points, and all of that really
That
has to do
dinner
with
was insane.
Georgetown's defense. I think that
Not
they've
as
been
insane as us
spot
spending
on
another
defending DePaul. Has taken
$173 on it.
threes by players like Amara Coleman.
New
8 of
laptop?
16 threes for
Nice.
DePaul to have this
And with
6-point
credit card
lead at
interest,
halftime.
I'll
And
spend
there's
an extra
another one by Kelly
$1,900.
Campbell.
And for
No one
Georgetown,
wants to pay more for,
not only do they
well,
play defensively,
anything. With a SoFi
they make things
personal
happen
loan,
on
you
their
can lower your
own.
interest rates
As
and pay
Deja
off
Cage gets it, 8 of 16 for DePaul here in the first half. One of the reasons why it's just a 6-point game, Deanna White on the money came in as the second leading scorer in the conference. She has 16 points here in the first half.
Well, and she has been super efficient. Deanna White, 7 of 10 from the field and just really picking her spots. The step back 3, she's gotten to the basket some. She's just doing a little bit of everything. She played all 20 minutes of that game, never got a break, but she really just looked energized and really wanting to put this team on her back in the first half.
Both teams shooting pretty well here tonight. You see the field goal percentages, both up over 45%. Rebounding numbers very interesting here. DePaul has been hammering the offensive boards. They've been out-rebounded on offensively 7-3, part of the 17-14 advantage for the Hoyas.
Well, and take a look at those steals as well. Georgetown, their hands are all over the place, getting tips, deflections, and 6 steals in this first half.
Georgetown comes into this game 11-13 overall, 6-8, 7th in the conference. DePaul 20-6, 12-2 overall, a 6-game winning streak. The Blue Demons, they've won 10 of their last 11. They're on top here at the half.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University. By bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking, a wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop?
Yeah,
Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your
Okay, what's that second?
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000.
Come visit Wintrust Arena, DePaul's new home for college basketball, and see what playing possessed is all about. When the Blue Demons welcome the Martech Golden Eagles next Saturday, February 24th at 11 a.m. Join DePaul faculty, staff, alumni, and friends at Chicago's newest sports and entertainment venue as DePaul celebrates its 6th annual Blue Demon Day. Call the DePaul ticket office today to reserve your seats for this year's celebration at 773-325-SLAM or by visiting DePaulBlueDemons.com for more information. Fans, groups of 15 or more can save up to $5 per ticket at any DePaul men's or women's game. Whether it's a birthday party, team celebration, or family gathering, a Blue Demons game provides high-quality action at a very affordable price. Be sure to take advantage of this great offer and gather your friends and family for one of the remaining college basketball contests at either Wintrust Arena or McGrath-Phillips Arena. Be sure to visit DePaulBlueDemons.com or call 773-325-SLAM this week to book your outing with the DePaul Group Ticket representative. We'll be back with second half after this.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University. By bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking, a wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your dress.
A lot of great stories.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 100.
Back at McGrath-Phillips Arena, the home court of the DePaul Blue Demons. DePaul with that 40-34 lead. We get set start the second half. Dave Bernhardt along with Patricia Babcock-McGraw. Friday night action here. Of course, Sunday these teams will get new opponents. Villanova, who lost earlier today up at Marquette, will come to Chicago for a 2 p.m. ball game, and it will be Georgetown heading up to Marquette. Quick score to start the second half and make it a 4-point game.
Looking sharp to start the second half. That was great ball movement by the Hoyas.
Donna Burton ends up with her first basket of this game. Shantae Stonewall, almost an afterthought. That's trouble right there. How about that? You talk about something that will not show up on a stat sheet. Right there, it was Jasmine Belk, who not only was part of the double team, she kept the ball alive after it was thrown off her foot.
Yeah, prevented it from being kicked out of bounds.
Right there is Belk once again. Burton, the elbow jumper, you don't see that one much anymore. Another offensive rebound. That is the 8th of this game, the 18th total rebound for the Hoyas, the +3 advantage in rebounding numbers. Here's Petke. She'll take Stonewall to the rack. Shantae Stonewall a hand in there. Petke felt that advantage. Stonewall, those good hands.
We're seeing some great on-ball defense by both of these teams. Really nice play there by Shantae Stonewall to keep Petke in front of her and get a hand on the basketball.
Grays will pick up that personal foul. First foul on Marte Grays. This has been a cleanly played ball game from the foul standpoint.
I hope you didn't just jinx us. But yeah, only that was just the 8th foul of this game.
Deanna White with 16 points in the first half, had a couple of threes. She had 8 points in the first quarter, 8 in the second. And another offensive board. Belk gets this one. Burton finds Belk. Numbers for DePaul. Trailer, Millender, deep three. DePaul scoreless here in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. A little confusion here with Burke, and White will bail her out. Nifty pass from White to Belk. We basically have 2 point guards out there, and Burton and White, of course, doubling up as a scorer, and some great interior passing. Belk to the line for 2.
Well, you saw how wide open Belk was, and that is simply because Deanna White just draws so much attention. She had 2-3 defenders right in front of her. She tried to drive the lane, and that opened things up for Belk, and Belk's having a very nice game. It's her 7th point. Getting in there on the boards, and she's defending in the post down at the other end very well this game. It's been tough to get the ball to Marte Grays for DePaul.
40-38. Georgetown has given Marquette one of Golden Eagles' 3 losses this season. They're hanging tough on the road right here in Chicago. And they have a chance for a tie this trip down, or not. Kelly Campbell the steal and the score.
Hands everywhere. You got to hang on to the basketball. Both of these teams blessed with quick hands, quick feet. Can't be careless with the ball.
Petke. Cynthia Petke with a dozen. Petke now at 12 points, 6 rebounds. Amara Coleman drains the 3 for Coleman. That's her 3rd 3 of the night. 45-40 DePaul lead. Amara Coleman now with 43 pointers in the season after having not made one in high school.
And just recently hit her 1,000th career point. She's been scoring the basketball so well, especially lately, Dave. Just shooting the ball well, making great decisions. Doug Bruno very happy with the tempo of her game, knowing when to drive, when to step back and hit those threes.
That was quite a weekend for milestones for DePaul basketball. On Saturday at Butler, Doug Bruno picked up his 700th career coaching victory, and then 2 days later it was Coleman going over the 1,000 point mark. That's a soft touch for Petke.
She's been active.
Cynthia Petke, 6'2" senior from Cameroon. Campbell. Kelly Campbell has her 2nd 3. DePaul has its 10th. 10 of 21 from 3-point range after having gone 15 of 31 when these teams met a few weeks ago in DC. Defense inside.
Ooh. Kelly Campbell, double behind the back, almost breaking a few ankles out there.
Allen likes to take the ball to the basket, and now she will take a spot at the free throw line.
Just to see all those little things. Kelly Campbell coming up with the steal on that play in the post, defending, getting her hands on the basketball, and just being able to handle the ball, handle the pressure, just does everything so well. Just a very fundamentally sound player, and so much that we don't see on the stat sheet, just that glue player that every team needs.
Campbell, sophomore from Wall, New Jersey, and Shantae Stonewall will check in, replacing Marte Grays. DePaul had an 11-point lead in the first quarter. Georgetown came back, took a 2-point lead midway through the second, and right now that lead gradually inching out to 8. Touch last by the Blue Demons. Well, with the Big East playing Friday, Sundays, a lot of folks figure if there are upsets to be had, they would come on Fridays because the legs become a little bit more fatigued on Sunday.
Especially by a road team, and we'll talk a little bit here about Georgetown. They have had a grueling trip to get to Chicago from Washington, D.C. They've not a fun trip at all.
You wouldn't know it by the way they're playing,
No.
but it was a 17-and-a-half-hour journey from Washington, D.C. to Chicago. It was a 6:15 departure from Georgetown, got in the air, flew to Chicago, circled the airport for a couple hours. Look at that move inside by Deanna White. She's already up to 20 points in a 4-point game, but the Hoyas circled the airport in Chicago for a couple of hours. Fog did not allow them to land. They had to be diverted to Columbus, Ohio, had to wait for a charter bus to come and get them. They did, and finally made it here.
17 and a half hours later. That's insane for a trip from Washington, D.C. to Chicago. That should be pretty routine.
Well, it's about a 10-hour drive. If you just got in your car and drove, it would have worked out better for them. But again, you would not know it by the way they are playing here tonight.
When we heard that the players just handled it so beautifully, had great attitudes, kept positive, and it seems like that maybe brought them together a little bit because they have been so cohesive here tonight. Their chemistry has been good. The pep in the step, everything. They've just been playing this DePaul team so tough, starting with their defense. They take so much pride in it.
4 minutes to play in the third quarter and a 52-48 lead for the league-leading DePaul Blue Demons. Shot up, shot down. Amara Coleman, her 4th three of the night. That accounts for all 12 of her points.
You see how well Georgetown is shutting down the lane. Shantae Stonewall almost committing a turnover there. The problem is getting out and covering those 3-point shots. And DePaul with 11 3-pointers now in this game. Georgetown needs to be quicker getting out to challenge those 3-point shots.
Those 11 threes have come in just 22 attempts. And Deanna White trying to single-handedly keep her team back in it. Speaking of 22, that's White's total.
She's doing a good job of that.
Boy, look at the battle inside Millender on White.
They aren't giving up much territory in that paint, though. A lot of kickouts by the Blue Demons because the paint just is not open.
Petke with the rebound, her 7th. And the scoring barrage continues. Deanna White again.
She's saying, you cannot stop me. She's scoring from everywhere, and she's looking right away for her shot. She is just feeling it right now. She's in a great rhythm.
55-52. A couple of times you thought Georgetown was on the brink, down by 11 in the first half, then down by 8 here in the third quarter, and they come right back at you. Allen gets a good look. Stonewall out-wrestles Campbell, her teammate, for the rebound.
Once again, Georgetown forcing a little bit of a kick out. Tough defensively.
We had a long time without a whistle. This one comes with 2:21 to play in a third and a 3-point game.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University. by bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking, a wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your...
Okay.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000 people. We want to help you too. Find out how much.
Blue Demon fans, there are only 2 men's basketball games remaining this season at Chicago's Wintrust Arena. This is your final opportunity to take advantage of the 2-game Big East Pick'em ticket package. Beginning at just $40, you can enjoy 2 great matchups from one of the top conferences in college basketball this season. Starts next Saturday, February 24th, when the Blue Demons host the Marquette Golden Eagles. Then the regular season concludes on March 3rd when 4th-ranked Xavier Musketeers visit as part of DePaul's Senior Days celebration. For more information, visit DePaulBlueDemons.com or call the DePaul ticket office at 773-325-SLAM. We've talked about James Howard being the head coach in his first year here at Georgetown. Took over for Dorothy Adair. He was assistant for a couple of years, but it has been about 5 different players that have occupied that Georgetown bench here in the last few years.
5 different coaches, yeah, 5 coaches in the last 7 years for Georgetown. James Howard replacing Natasha Adair, who's now at Delaware. And it's just been a lot for these girls. Dorothy Adamako, who was Georgetown's leading scorer last year, has been one of the best players in the Big East. She's hurt this year. She's a senior. She'll probably get a 5th year next year. But she's dealt with all 5 of those coaches, starting the recruiting process with Terry Williams of Flournoy, and went through a bunch of different coaches at Georgetown. Just a lot of upheaval and change, and been tough for this program to really get anything going. And James Howard trying to change that, trying to bring some stability to this program. And these players, they do a lot together as a group. They take advantage of being in Washington, D.C. They go to a lot of the monuments and the museums. They take pictures. They talk about some of the special things that they see that have to do with history and our country. He's just trying to keep things fun, Dave. He's trying to keep these girls together, trying to build some stability amongst all the change that they've had in that program, and trying to get things going in the positive direction. And you're starting to see it here. They've got a 3-point game with DePaul on DePaul's own court.
Deanna White picked up her 26th point on one end, and the defense stood up for Georgetown on the other. Petke decides to drive. Grays, the catch, the bank, and the score. Good hands for the 6'2 junior from Detroit, Michigan, and Martin Luther King Junior High School in Detroit. And Allen cannot save it. Georgetown with 46.2 seconds left. We'll look to cut into this 5-point game. It was 6 at halftime. Off the miss by Belk. Grays to Prochaska. Final minute here in the third quarter. Grays finds a cutting Coleman.
A great movement without the basketball by Amara Coleman, seeing that her teammate's in trouble, making a great cut to the basket, wide open.
Now White dangerous in the open floor. With 15 seconds to play in the third. Now down to 7.
Oh, Marte Graves' shoe came off. The pink shoes, not used to wearing those, just stepped right out of her shoe. Otherwise, I think she was going to try to put up a step back three.
Well, not a flashy way to end the third quarter, but it's still a good one here in Chicago. DePaul 61, Georgetown 54. 10 minutes to play here in Big East action.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University by bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking. A wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
With the family,
right.
They bought gifts.
Right. Yeah.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over
Fans, DePaul Athletics offers a variety of partnership opportunities for all Blue Demon events at Wintrust Arena. The highly desirable college demographic is within reach for your organization through the university's 23,000 plus students and 160,000 alumni. To learn more about these opportunities with DePaul Athletics and Wintrust Arena, please visit DePaulBlueDemons.com and click on the corporate sponsorships page or call 773-325-7572. And there is Wintrust Arena. That will be the home of the Big East Women's Basketball Championships starting March 3rd. The brand new arena in downtown Chicago, home to the men's basketball team for DePaul. The women's team has played 6 games this year, but here at Doug Bruno Court in Lincoln Park area of Chicago, this is the women's home.
Well, I tell you though, Wintrust Arena is a beautiful facility for DePaul. Beautiful on the court, but behind the scenes too, Dave. A great take to the basket there by Amara Coleman, but just all the bells and whistles. The locker room is gorgeous. You got a state-of-the-art weightlifting area, training center, just everything that you can imagine to make these athletes comfortable. It's going to be a great venue for the Big East tournament, but an excellent new home for both the DePaul men's and women's basketball teams, and great recruiting tool as well. Recruits are definitely going to be impressed by that new facility.
Amara Coleman unable to finish off that three-point play. And what a hop and what a night for Deanna White.
It is that kind of night for Deanna White. 29 now, and that was her third three-pointer.
29 points for Deanna White. That ties her career high came last year at Butler.
Well, every time Georgetown has kind of cut into this deficit here in the second half, DePaul has had an answer. Marte Gray's starting to heat up. She now has 9 points for the Blue Demons and made a tough shot there with contact.
Grays with 9 points tonight. She scored 22 when these teams met in Washington, D.C. In that ball game, this is about where Georgetown was. Dada Burton knocks that one down. It's about where the Hoyas were in that game going into the fourth quarter. It was a 2-point game, but DePaul outscoring Georgetown by 14 in that fourth quarter to end up winning by 16. Prochaska. Yasmin Belk was looking for yet another block. Belk with over 100 career blocks for the Hoyas.
Lauren Prochaska does have the ability to get to the rim, finish shots. She's only averaging about 4 points per game, but we've talked all season about the evolution of her game this season in particular as a senior, feeling a little bit more comfortable to be more of a scorer for this team. She's had games where she's scored in double figures, which isn't what she normally does. She's normally a facilitator for this team. But Doug Bruno saying, you know, it's senior night on Sunday for DePaul, and he just loves the growth that Lauren Prochaska has shown over the course of her career and how she's really come into her own here as a senior, especially scoring a little bit more, showing a lot more confidence. He said, you know, that's what we envisioned out of Lauren Prochaska when we recruited her, a player that could do a little bit of everything, and we know she can score, and they like it when she gets to the basket like she did on that last play.
Though Doug Bruno says we really have 7 starters. Last year it was Prochaska that started 22 games, and that's when Jessica January was injured. So this year Prochaska coming off the bench in her role. White will get another shot at it. She'll take it. And that's a career high for Deanna White, 31.
Literally can't miss, and she's making tough jumpers, mid-range jumpers, everything.
White with 31 of the Hoyas' 61 points, and she is keeping them in striking distance for Marte Graves. We'll go to double figures with that nifty move.
And you saw how Marte Graves kept that ball up high, being aware of the fact that those Georgetown hands are everywhere, slapping the ball away. That was a tough, tough shot in the post, and those have been few and far between for the Blue Demons.
White. The putback and a chance for a three-point play from Cynthia Petke.
Even White's misses are so good that they land right into the hands of her teammates, and Petke trying to go for that three-point play. A nice, easy putback for Petke. I almost thought that one was going down too. It looked right on target for White. And Petke there to clean things up. Georgetown's been very opportunistic on the offensive boards. 13 offensive rebounds that have led to 11 second chance points for the Hoyas.
50 points combined from Petke and White. 50 of the 64, and that's in the absence of 15-point per game scorer Michaela Benson. Deja Cage off the bench. She'll drain her second three of this game. And every time Georgetown has made a move, as you mentioned, Trish, DePaul answers. Thompson's soft little floater.
And there's the answer, but it's got to be deflating when Deja Cage, as you mentioned, just comes into the game and just calmly, in rhythm, stone cold knocks down a three. That's tough for your defense.
Burton the steal. That is the senior point guard, gets it to the hottest player on the floor in White. Good hands.
Oh, wow. Great trap at half court.
Morgan Smith with the bucket. 72-68. Every time DePaul makes a move, Georgetown answers. Cage open in a corner. Possession will go to the Hoyas.
Smart move there by Tanita Allen, trying to keep that possession alive, tapping it instead of trying to go for the rebound. DePaul's got all the little tricks. That's why they are one of the best rebounding teams in the Big East, especially on the offensive end. They're not the biggest team, but they find ways to keep possessions alive. Just couldn't wind up with the ball there on the jump ball.
Now remember, Georgetown is not a big three-point shooting team, so they will not look to get back in this game outside the arc unless they absolutely have to.
But they don't have to when they can get to the basket like that, and this is only a 2-point game. They don't have to look for the threes.
Morgan Smith with the bucket, 72-70, under 6 minutes to play. 7th place Georgetown, 1st place DePaul. Marquette winning earlier today, just 1/2 game behind the Blue Demons, but Kelly Campbell will get her 10th point of the game. Campbell, a double-double, 10 points, 11 assists tonight for Campbell. And another inside bucket. Petke now at 21 points.
We're seeing a lot of strength on both sides, Dave. Kelly Campbell on the other end down there really had to hold on to that basketball to get her shot off and to get it to go in. I think maybe at least 2 Georgetown players had their hands on that basketball. She just forced that in, sheer strength, and then another strong play in the post there by Petke, finishing with contact. And these players aren't showing any fatigue. This is a dogfight.
Stonewall, that's a tough angle, gets the glass. That's a great athletic move right there from Shantae Stonewall. She goes to double figures.
It certainly was, as she was falling away. Again, showing the strength in the legs to power that in.
Thompson for 3, count it!
Just when we say that Georgetown's not gonna use threes to get back in this game, they nail one. Now it's a 1-point DePaul lead.
76-75. Georgetown exceeding their season scoring average, came in averaging about 63 points per game. DePaul coming off a 1-point victory at Xavier on Sunday. Millender, quick release.
Wow. Boy, and that is a 3 that actually was defended pretty well. Morgan Smith had her hand in Ashton Millender's face.
Millender with 5 threes. She has 19 points. White crashes, and that will be a foul on Deanna White. Well, an interesting one here in Chicago. Ashton Millender, that makes for a 4-point difference.
What do you see? Is it a tree? Or is it a shelter? Is it a time capsule telling the story of the last century? Or a way to combat climate change in this one? Looking at things from every angle. It happens every day at DePaul University. By bringing together students with diverse perspectives and professors who challenge conventional thinking, a wider point of view emerges. DePaul University, a greater perspective.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
Love your...
Okay, so we have a chance.
What?
So, no read. So why don't we talk about the community service?
We also maybe try to talk about this at some point.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 1.
A lot of pink in the building here tonight at McGrath-Phillips Arena. Play for K-Night here in Chicago. DePaul and Georgetown putting on a show here on this floor. But these two programs put on a show for their respective communities throughout the year. Two of the most highly involved programs in terms of giving back.
Community service emphasized by both of these coaches. Doug Bruno has always had his players get involved in the city of Chicago. This year, they were big at Christmas time with using their own money. The players and the coaches did to buy just a tremendous amount of Christmas presents for an entire family. They had the family over for a dinner. I think the family watched practice. They gave the family all the presents that they had purchased for them specifically. The kids wrapped them. Just a great night for the DePaul Blue Demons with that family around Christmas time. Georgetown, same kind of thing. They did some presents at called the Army Angel Tree Warehouse. They've served meals at soup kitchens. They've put together food packages for hurricane victims, and both coaches are saying, hey, you know, we want our players to be role models in the community, not just known as basketball players. We want our people in our community to think the best of our team and to really have a high opinion of them. And we want to instill the need for community service and giving back within our players, that it's not just about coming here to be a student and an athlete. It's about developing the whole person.
And it was James Howard that told us about the football coach at Georgetown, Rod Scarlatta, who he says 4 for 40. You know, you have players for 4 years in college, and you're setting them up for 40 years of life after college.
Of success and of feeling grateful for the opportunities that they got through their college scholarships, and then giving back to their communities.
And with that basket by Cynthia Petke, back to a 2-point game. 79-77. Coleman, she'll lose the handle, and it will be Georgetown ball. It is crunch time in Chicago.
And this goes back to what Doug Bruno was telling me earlier in the week, that, hey, this conference is for real. He expects the Big East to get some major respect come NCAA tournament time, because you've got teams near the bottom of the league really forcing the issue with teams at the top of the league like DePaul. DePaul has had 2 tough games here. Xavier was a 1-point victory in DePaul's most recent game, and now Georgetown fighting tooth and nail and now taking a lead with under 3 minutes to go, Dave.
Tatiana Thompson with her second three, 80-79 Hoyas. Stonewall will go to the line.
Georgetown continuing to be so tough defending the paint. Shantae Stonewall, though, being relentless, posting up, trying to get that position, and now getting herself to the free throw line as well.
65% shooter from the line. Tied at 80. And DePaul goes back on top. This is Dada Burton working on Coleman. They're opening up the floor for her. Now White, under 2.5 to play. That'll be a bump on Millender. Thompson has come off the bench tonight, 10 points. She'll give it up to Petke. And now Burton, 2:15 left. And that will be the 5th team foul on DePaul here in the fourth quarter. And we'll send Dada Burton to the free throw line. Burton just 36% from the line this year. Needs 1 for the tie, 2 for the lead. We're tied at 81. Georgetown back on top. Straight up 2 minutes. Hands on the ball, turnover, will give it to Georgetown. The ball and the lead.
It's been like that all game. The hands, the deflections. James Howard wanting to talk about it. These are important possessions here down the stretch for both teams.
The Hoyas, the ball in a 1-point lead when we come back.
Love your dress. I got it on sale for 200 bucks, but it's more like 415 since I haven't paid off that credit card yet.
That dinner was insane.
Not as insane as us spending another $173 on it this year.
New laptop? Nice.
Thanks. And with credit card interest, I'll spend an extra $1,900 on it.
No one wants to pay more for, well, anything. With a SoFi personal loan, you can lower your interest rates and pay off debt sooner. Find out more at SoFi.com.
When trying to save for the big things in life, we tend to start small. Less of this, cut back on that. But if it feels like a lot of effort for a little gain, change that. Start with something that makes a big difference. Your student loans. Refinancing with SoFi could save you $30,000. It's an easier way to reach your life goals sooner. We've helped over 195,000 people. We want to help you too. Find out how much you can save in just 2 minutes.
That's the site of the Big East Women's Basketball Tournament, Wintrust Arena. Starting Saturday, March 3rd, experience the competition as the conference's 10 teams compete to earn an automatic bid into the 2018 NCAA Women's Championship Tournaments. Individual and all session tickets are on sale now. To learn more, call the DePaul ticket office today at 773-325-SLAM or visit DePaulBlueDemons.com for more information.
Well, and that Big East tournament is going to lead, of course, into the NCAA tournament, Dave. And talking with Doug Bruno earlier this week, he is adamant that the Big East should get at least 4 teams into the NCAA tournament. DePaul, Marquette, Villanova, and Creighton. And you never know. I mean, with the way some of these other teams are playing, who knows what could happen in that Big East tournament. And I mentioned it at the beginning of the show that Georgetown has been one of the most dangerous teams in the Big East all season. They have a huge win over Marquette. They have some other nice wins. They're playing teams tough. This game right here, proof of that. I think they're starting to come together at the right time. Georgetown is, as well as some other teams in the league who could make some noise in the Big East tournament. So who knows how many teams the Big East will end up getting for sure, but there's got to be at least 4 of them. 4 teams in this league have had good seasons. Doug Bruno pointed out that the 4 that we mentioned, all in the top 40 for RPI, and all have strength of schedules in the top 30 as well with quality wins. I think those 4 should be locks. That's DePaul, Marquette, Villanova, and Creighton.
Right now, DePaul trying to hang on to first place all by themselves. Marquette just 1/2 game behind following the Golden Eagles win today, but it's Georgetown with a 1-point lead with 1:45 to play in Chicago. Deanna White, the big night, and she'll go to the line to get a couple, and that was the play that James Howard had drawn up, and when that ball rolled out, he gave a big old aw shucks over there on the side.
Well, no surprise, obviously, that Deanna White got the ball, but everybody knew it. DePaul knew it, and yet she's still so quick, so good at getting herself to the basket, had a great look.
32 points tonight for Deanna White, a career high. More importantly, a 2-point lead for Georgetown. .140 left. Blue Demons chasing 3. Campbell with the block by White.
White just 5'5", but she has been everywhere. You can see it in her face. She is just determined to lead Georgetown to a victory here.
She is in control right now, working on Campbell. 15 on a shot clock. Petke. She got there and went up and down.
When she wanted contact, saying that the contact forced her to shuffle her feet. Not going to get it here in the last 69 seconds.
DePaul 13 of 27 from three-point range. That's the difference here right now. Again, a hand on the ball, this time by White. The possession arrow points to DePaul.
Well, you have got to be so crisp and so sure of your passes if you're DePaul right now. Georgetown with those quick hands, they've been doing it all game. DePaul has to recognize that and be on the money with their passes. They cannot afford a turnover here. Already 19 DePaul turnovers, and this is one of the most careful teams with the basketball in the Big East. Georgetown has just forced their hand, though, in this game. DePaul with a lot of mistakes, just trying to make simple passes, Dave.
And the Hoyas have taken advantage of those turnovers. They've turned them into 25 points. Both these teams shooting well. DePaul at 55%, Georgetown at 53% here today. But it's been the big two tonight for Georgetown. Missing the third member of that trio, Michaela Benson. You have Deanna White, here she is, 33 points for White, 23 points for Petke. Deanna White has been on every spot of this floor. 39 minutes played. She has not left the floor tonight.
Yeah, I don't think that we can underestimate, though, the loss of Michaela Benson. You know, she's averaging about 10 points per game, but she's coming off an 18-point game against St. John's, scoring the basketball really well. And for Georgetown to be doing this, a 3-point lead with under a minute to play on DePaul's home floor against the #1 team in the Big East, that is just spectacular. That has got to give this team all kinds of confidence. And, of course, Deanna White more than making up for Michaela Benson's absence, but it has really been a team effort just as much, especially on the defensive end for Georgetown.
Going in tight.
Oh, a tough shot.
Graves gets it to roll, a 1-point game. White versus Millender. Now Petke. Burton. 15 to shoot. The deflection keeps the ball alive. We're down to 10 to shoot. 30 seconds to play. White. The block from Graves. And DePaul will shoot free throws.
White just stuck in traffic, and Marte Graves doing a great job of just keeping her hands up high, and Georgetown trying to do what they've done all game. Burton trying to get in there and force the situation, trying to pop the ball loose from Amara Coleman. But Coleman strong enough to hold on to the ball long enough to draw that foul.
Coleman missed her only free throw attempt earlier. That one ties it at 84. 73% free throw shooter on the season. Shot clock is off. DePaul by 1. Timeout, Hoyas. 30-second timeout for James Howard. So now the question that is supposed to be asked at every point at this stage is, do you go for one shot?
I always think that in a tight game, and when you're the underdog and you're on the road, you go for the win. So obviously, I think you try to work down the clock, make sure that you don't give DePaul a very much time to work with, but give yourself enough time to get a good shot off. Don't wait too long. And obviously, I think the ball is going to be in Deanna White's hands for the majority of this time left. But will she take the last shot? I don't know, because DePaul is obviously anticipating that. They're going to be defending her well. But that could open up a player like Petke, who has had a great game for Georgetown. 23 points for Petke. Maybe a double team on White. She finds an open Petke. It's probably the two players that are probably most likely to get the ball for the Hoyas.
Georgetown does not have a field goal in the last 2.5 minutes. You see the time ticking down. Burton has it. Millender guarding White. Now White with the touch. White the drive. The reverse. Rebound. Good. Morgan Smith got it.
And an unlikely hero there for the Hoyas. That's Morgan Smith's just third basket of this game, but this is something that Georgetown has done a very good job of in this game is offensive rebound. That is the 14th offensive rebound for the Hoyas, and the attention that Deanna White draws there. 3 DePaul defenders trying to swipe away at that basketball. They all knew that she was going to the rim and going to try to take that shot, and that left Smith wide open on the other end to get that put back in.
So now you go the other way. 9 seconds left. There's not a go-to player because there are 5 players on the floor that can beat you at any time for DePaul.
That's got to be terrifying for Georgetown, because who do you focus on? For DePaul it was, let's focus on Deanna White. We know she's going to get the ball. For Georgetown, who knows who's going to get the ball for DePaul? All 5 of these players can score. All 5 of these players can hit big shots. All 5 of these players have the confidence to have the ball in their hands with 9 seconds left in the game on the line.
It will be Millender to inbound. DePaul trailing by 1. Now Campbell. Grays. Campbell. Coleman. Millender. It rolls out of there.
Oh, and DePaul had a look. They had 2 looks. Wow.
And Georgetown has knocked off number 1 DePaul, 86-85. The Hoyas come to Chicago after a 17.5-hour trip, missing one of their leading scorers, Michaela Benson, down by 11 early, and they walk out of McGrath-Phillips Arena with the 1-point win.
Well, Georgetown gives up 85 points to DePaul, but I'm going to talk about their defense. They were all over the place. They were tipping balls. They were deflecting balls. They were getting to the loose balls. I feel like they just really hustled for this win tonight, and it started on the defensive end for Georgetown. Very impressive. This is a tough place to win. This is a hallmark win for this program, just like the Marquette win was earlier this season.
So with this win by Georgetown, DePaul falls to 12-3 in the conference, and Marquette goes into a tie with the Blue Demons. Thanks to Georgetown. Georgetown earlier this season defeating Marquette. They come to Chicago and get the Blue Demons from DePaul tonight. 86-85 your final. 33 points from Deanna White, 23 from Cynthia Petke. The game-winning bucket for Morgan Smith. There's your final, a great one in Big East play tonight. For our entire crew and for Patricia Babcock-McGraw, I'm Dave Bernhardt. Thanks for joining us.